Welcome to the soapbox. I'm Ann.
And I'm Lisa. Anne, I guess we're going to talk about religion today.
I'm not an expert on that subject
I'm not an
at
expert.
either.
Yeah, I'm not an expert either. I was raised Pentecostal. My grandmother and my mother took me to churches, when I was.
Did you jump up and down and bang drums? And...
No, but my mom did say I threw my baby bottle and hit somebody in the back of the head once. And that's back when all the baby bottles were glass; they weren't plastic. So,
oh my God!
and my mom said that she handed.
Did they bleed?
No, but she said she did hand me over to my grandmother because my grandmother didn't see what happened, so that they thought she was holding me when it happened.
Well, the closest thing I came to religion was going to a Baptist church with my aunt and uncle.
Yeah,
My parents didn't.
was that pretty exciting for you?
No.
Yeah,
I felt kind of like a hypocrite,
yeah.
to be honest.
Well, and the funny thing is, and we're gonna, first of all, I do believe in God, and I believe, in religion as far as I believe in God. But the religion that I believe that a lot of people, believe in is not the same religion. Let's talk about the Bible, for example. I mean, everybody's, they quote things out of the Bible, about different situations, but it's kind of like pick and choose what part of the Bible that they want to believe in, because and if you say, well, you kind of throw that back at them, like, hey, you're not supposed to wear certain fabrics or certain things
Right.
like that. They look at you, hypocritical, and they'll be like, well, that part was back in da da da. Well, the part that you're stating to me, like, being gay or something like that doesn't, phase right with me, then, I'm not sitting there saying the same thing. Let's, apples to apple, oranges to oranges.
Well, yeah, you can't pick and choose.
Right. And you can't pick and choose.
You're not
and
supposed to anyway.
and let's talk about this. It's open to interpretation because that's what it
Exactly.
basically is.
Yeah.
And really the original author, and who knows who that was, was it the Black Sea Scrolls? Was it Noah? Was it Moses? Whatever it was, they know what they meant when they wrote it.
Right.
The rest of us, most of it's not even written in our language, so we're just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
guessing what did this person mean, and I don't know about you, Anne, but when I'm writing something, depending on my mood, I could be writing it angrily,
Right.
or I could be writing happy, who knows, or what the current events are,
Right.
that are going on. And I don't know how much you know about the Bible, Anne.
Not a lot.
But there is a 75 books, parts of the Bible that are excluded from that.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, there's 75 parts that is excluded from that. And like there's
For
the
what reason? Is there a reason for that?
because whoever made those decisions of what they want you to know about the Bible decided what was going to be included in it and what was going to be excluded. Now there's the Book of Mary, there's the Book of Enoch, just as a couple, and there's even the Book of Jesus Christ that is kept out of the Bible. And I mean, you would think if this book's supposed to be about God and Jesus Christ, that's the last.
You would think that would be in there, yeah.
That'd
for
be
sure.
included. But
Well, Mary probably didn't get in there because she was a woman.
yeah, and that's sad but true.
Sad but true. Yeah.
But one of the things I have a problem with is that I feel like the Bible has been used to police people over the years. Generation after generation, especially starting with the Catholic Church. Back in the day, the church was more powerful than the kings that were
Oh, yeah.
supposed to be running things.
I can
and
see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so the Catholics, and I'm not going to pick on any one religion because there's many religions I have an issue with, but Catholics is definitely one of them. I mean, it's one of those religions you can sin all week and the weekend and go in and say a few Hail Marys on Sunday and you're forgiven. To me, if you know that and you're like, hey, I can do what I want, I'm going to be forgiven anyway. That's not really what
Well,
forgiveness
either
is
that
about.
or go to, what do they call that when you go in and talk to a priest on your own? Confession.
Confession. Yeah,
I confess crap all the time.
I do too. I mean,
Doesn't mean I don't do it again.
you're probably going to do it in the next 5 minutes here.
I probably will.
So yeah, so that's one of the things that that's another reason I have a problem with part of religion is the Bible because of what's in there, how it's used, and who decides what's going to be used and what's how they're going to use it.
I felt pressured
Yeah.
by my uncle to feel a certain way. I remember going to church one Sunday night and he asked me if I was going to get up and confess and do that whole thing. And I said, sure. And then I felt like a hypocrite when I did it because I really didn't feel it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
You were just going through the action.
I was going through the
motions.
motions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I touched base on was earlier is about the part where it says man laying with man. And if anybody knows the time periods when, these kinds of things were discussed, one of the things that happened back with the Romans it was that men a lot of times would go to bathhouses. And in these bathhouses were younger men. And these younger men were being raped by these men. And the reason they were being raped by these men was not because a lot of these men were gay. A lot of these men they couldn't have sex with the women unless they were married. Because this could be, you could literally, and depending on, where you lived and who wanted to make these rules, they could kill you and the woman for doing that. So these men thought, well, hey, we're just going to rape these young men and then we don't have to worry about it. So,
men have been perverts.
Yeah. And so,
forever.
Well, I kind of agree with you. And, it's usually the heterosexual white males that kind of
like
fall
the
into
ones
that
we have
category.
running our country right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, if there, I think that it's still out on that one about if he's even human.
The verdict or the jury's still out.
Yeah, if he's even human. But anyway, so I think that part of that was put in there and worded and interpreted that way because they were trying to get these men from stop raping these young
men,
these young boys.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason that was in there. But and they interpret it that way. And again, goes back to, they're not trying to make anybody feel good about being part of the world and saying, hey, try to be a good person, be good to yourself, be good to your family, be good to your neighbor. No, they put all these things in there that are more about policing people,
right,
than anything.
Yeah.
And
be judgmental.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
look how many times the Bible's been rewritten. It's been stomped on worse than a bad hit a crack on the streets. It's just been, it just has been rewritten and interpreted differently. And, we'll take the New Testament, the Old Testament, we'll take the Quran. It's just, there's just been so many different ways. And then, you've got the churches of today. I tried to, because like I said, I do believe in God, and I've tried to take my children to church.
And you and Jamie got kind of involved in church
we did,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we did. And, we thought, I'd really like to get my kids exposed to, something positive that I thought would be a positive. And I did my research and we did for a while. And I don't have a lot of bad things to say about that, the church that we attended, other than I feel like it still has a lot of the same motivations as a lot of the churches out there, which is money.
Right.
It's
their offerings,
their money motivations. And, and then they tell you, you're supposed to give X amount.
Right. 10%, I think
Yes,
it is,
it
isn't
is.
it?
And, some families are, maybe they're able to do that. Some they're not. But I don't, I don't know about you, Ann, but I would rather, back in the day they used to have families that would, okay, you're going to have church, and I think there's still some folks that do that. We'll have church at your house on Sunday. Next Sunday we're going to have it
Well,
over
that's the
here.
way the Amish do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they take turns once a year, I think, once or twice a year. They'll have their church at their homes.
Yeah, and I just feel like money motivation to me is not, that's not. I don't think Jesus went around and said, "Hey, I'd love to pray with you, or I'd love to spend some time with you, but you're going to have to give me a few bucks."
Right.
Yeah,
hand it over.
Hand it over, and then we'll think about it.
You got change for a 20
because you're only getting 10%.
Because you're only make you feel guilty if you don't. Put
Absolutely, and it makes you feel bad, and
guilt is a good thing for people,
Yeah, and then you
they
go
like to throw it on you.
Yeah, they do, and then the other thing is you get the churches that it's not just the ministry, the people that are preaching, because they are a big part of it, but it's about the folks that attend that church. They make people feel like, well, you're not good enough to attend there because your lifestyle. We don't approve of your lifestyle.
Right, yeah. Like theirs is a lot better than yours.
But some of our the way that we believe and the way that we live, we don't hide it.
Right.
It's not easily put in a closet. Like, you know what I mean? You are who you are.
Right.
But some of these people, I can't. And we can sit here and we can look around the room when we go to church, and every single person is.
Yeah, who's the pedophile? Who's the murderer? Who's the
who's the thief?
Because you can't see
who's smacking their wife or their spouse,
assume,
who's
it's okay if they're there,
and that's
because you don't know,
and that's one of my point. And you get these people, and then you get them to get up there and they're preaching, how bad your life is and the way that you've chose to live your life, which. And everybody's looking at you and like you're this bad person when they should be looking inward. How can what does it matter? That doesn't really matter. What can I do to be a better person, in this world? So when I leave it, it's in a better place.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's not what churches are about.
No.
And they always put the good stuff out there. Yeah, we donated this, our time, and we have our kids doing, but you know what? A lot of that's just for looks. And it's unfortunate, and I believe that. Now, I'm not saying every church is the same way, but I'm telling you right now.
Or the people in it.
And they're not all that way.
They're not all
I've met
that
a
way.
lot of good people.
But
unfortunately, I've met more situations where I felt like it was hypocritical than not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's they're very unsort. It's very unfortunate that we live in a world like that.
Well, I had an uncle that was very religious, very. And I'm not going to say, well, he was a Baptist, which I'm not saying anything bad about Baptists because I don't know anything about them.
Right.
Really, not much, other than how I felt. And, he one time told my mom and dad that their kids would never amount to anything. Now, okay, you're a very spiritual, religious person.
Right.
And you're going around saying that about kids.
Do you think Jesus would have said that, Ann?
Oh,
right.
Hell no.
Exactly. Exactly.
So religion has never been a big deal to me. I mean, do I believe in God? I believe in a higher power. Something had to start this.
Right.
Or somebody. And, I don't know what to say.
I know. I get what you're saying. It's, and here's the other point. One of the biggest things is you're not supposed to judge. That's God's place. But
exactly.
That's the first thing that everybody does.
That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not here to judge you.
Right.
You're not here to judge me. I'm going to answer for my sins.
Right. I don't have
to answer to you.
Right. Thank God I don't have to worry about your sins.
Right, because I'd be dead.
Right. Right. I got my own
I got
baggage.
my own stuff.
You know, and we live in a world that could not, that refuses, and I wasn't there. I mean, none of us were there that we're talking about, but we live in a world that nobody will or is even willing to think about or consider the fact, because some people think that, you know, that Jesus Christ was married to Mary Magdalene. They'd rather say that she was a prostitute, you know, and talk bad about her because she's a female, than the thought that he might have had a, you know, a life, that he fell in love with this woman and had children. And I mean, to me, that's one of the problems I ever had with religion anyway, or believing in Jesus. How can you know, how can somebody sit there and say that they feel the way I feel if they've never experienced it?
Exactly.
You know, and to me, it's comforting to know that maybe he did have, you know, maybe he was married to her, maybe they did have children, you know, and that makes me even more heartfelt about this possibility of, you know, of that being true, because he was willing to give up his family, his wife, just because he believed in God so much and trusted the fact that God's going to take care of this. And, you know,
Right.
he's going to die for all of our sins, including his family,
Mhm.
all of us,
Right.
you know, but no, we're just going to say, you know, she was just a whore, you know? So, you know, and then people ask me, well, then what do you believe in? When, you know, because I tell them, well, you know, you say you believe in, you know, you believe in God. And so what do you believe in? What I believe in is a God that is going to love you regardless. It's an unconditional love. Now, does that mean that you can be this terrible person and think that you're going to be forgiven and you just keep doing it over and over? No, but I think if everybody got up every day and they looked in the mirror and said, you know, I'm going to try to be just a little bit better person today than
Right.
I was yesterday.
Right.
And the God and Jesus that I believe in would care more about me not loving than it would care about me loving somebody,
Right.
whether it's a man or a woman.
Right.
The fact that I do love
Right.
is a, you know, a lot better than not loving at all. That's the part I would be worried
Exactly.
about. I mean,
Yeah.
why would you want somebody like that in heaven?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, just starting, to me, just be honest, starting with your, you know, being a better person, starting with your family, your partner, your wife, your spouse. Help people when you can. You know, if you can help them, you know, and you know, and as far as, don't hurt people physically or, you know, physically or emotionally. And now don't get me wrong, because I'm one of those people, like, you know, I will be going down the road, driving to work or on my way home, and I'm like, oh my God, this jerk can get the hell out of my way.
I
You know,
never do that.
you know, so, you know, I'm far from perfect, let me tell you. And then I start thinking, oh, you know, God loves that person just as much as they love me, but can you tell him to get the hell out of the way?
Can you tell him to speed up?
I'm trying to get somewhere, you know, and I feel like I said, I don't think that you should be intentionally thinking that God's going to forgive you if you just keep doing the same thing. Like if, you know, you hurt people, or you're a thief, you know, or a pedophile. Oh, you know, you
can't just keep doing that and expect God to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you can ask for forgiveness if you want, but, you know, to me, asking
That's
forgiveness.
the point. These people don't ask for forgiveness. They just think, I don't know how
they're
they think.
entitled to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what they think.
I don't think that, you know, Jesus dying for your sins meant, hey, here's a free ticket. Just do whatever you want.
Just do whatever you
Run
want.
amok.
Right.
You know, no, I don't think that.
Say what you want, do what you want. You know, it's not the way it works. I don't think.
No, I don't think either. And, you know, money isn't bad. And it says in the Bible, you know, a lot of things about the rich man and things like that. And let's talk about Trump. You know, the fact that Trump has.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we probably will talk about Trump a couple of
Okay.
times. But, you know, having money and a lot of money is not a bad thing. Now, putting that money before humanity,
That's a bad thing.
that's the bad thing. That when you are going to let people do without, or you're going to hurt people to get that money, guess what? That's a bad thing.
That's a bad thing.
And I think that's another thing that people get confused about, that just because somebody's wealthy doesn't make them evil. And just because somebody's not wealthy doesn't make them a thief. People are just, I don't know, their minds are just corrupt or something. I don't understand.
See, I don't know about you. I know I'm a Swiftie, and there's one reason why I am. It's because she puts her money where her mouth is.
Right.
She's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Right.
But she also feeds the homeless, gives money to food organizations to
Right.
help feed people.
Right.
She doesn't hang on to it. I mean, I'm sure she hangs on to a lot of it. I would love to have the money that she has. But
Right.
she's worked her ass off for it.
Right.
She entertains people. And then you have people like, what's his name? Musk.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
Right.
He's just looking for ways to make more.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't answer to what charities they give to or whatever, but she outwardly does this kind of stuff.
Right. Dolly Parton's another one.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly Parton does a lot. Yeah, in Notre Dame player that, I don't know if or you know what? Who am I talking to? Love.
I do.
He had won
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah
Oh,
Love.
yeah, absolutely.
He won a bunch of money for a what was it that he did? I can't remember exactly what it was, but he donated every single penny of that money.
Oh,
He didn't take any of that. I'll get better information on that, but those are the kind of people that I'm proud of.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I know why he did it, because he's showed his integrity since I've seen him and hear the things that he's done.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that he'd done that.
Yeah, and I think that that is something that is to be applauded by such a young man with that much integrity. But
Well, we're supposed to be excited because Trump doesn't take a salary.
yeah,
Really?
right,
Seriously.
exactly. And but money can be evil. There are people that kill people for money, and that's something I really don't understand, because money is such a temporary thing.
Right.
I mean, to hurt somebody or kill
That's why I don't have any of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it's in and out. So
it's here,
temporarily.
there, then it goes.
But to hurt somebody for money, I guess that's just something my mind just can't wrap my head around.
I used to give money away when I drank.
To the bartender.
The bartender, the waitress, the whoever, it didn't matter. I just, here, take it. You can ask anybody that knows me. I used to do that.
And if people just start being nicer, even to your own family. Have you ever noticed some people are nicer to strangers than they are their own family? Have you ever seen people that are like that are just, you see them behind closed doors and they treat their family like crap, but out in public they're like to strangers, they're, or people that they don't really know, they're just really nice and kind. It's like,
oh yeah.
It's kind of like that whole two-faced thing to me. That's kind of two-faced, but yeah, start being nicer to your own family. I mean, I realize we get on each other's nerves on a daily basis, but
pretty much,
and show some compassion, but those are the things that I believe in. If you're going to believe in something and you're going to act a certain way, don't go judging people and worry about who they're sleeping with in their bed, unless it's a child,
right?
Don't worry about what they're.
Well, look at Trump. For what kind of example is he setting for the kids in this country? He has no compassion for anybody.
True,
unless it's somebody saying how wonderful he is. The minions that he has surrounded himself with, male and female. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just say yes to me and I will support you.
right.
Do something I don't like and you're stupid.
Yeah.
Or a piggy or whatever. And he's supposed to be a Christian. isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be saying he goes to church. Supposed to be going to church on Sundays. You know.
It's either that or the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, or putting a ball on in his new ballroom.
That's, yeah. Okay. Can't wait to go and get my invitation. Because it's the people's, right?
Right.
I mean, we should be able to go there.
Right. But we won't be accepted there. And I bet he wouldn't have those same people that he had trash in the, country. I bet he won't be having those people invited there because it's not an open bar anyway.
Well, let's talk about what's happened this week.
Yeah, since we're
A
talking
little
about
bit.
religion and being better people and trying, that's what the country should be working on. Us all trying to be better people. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You
You got people out there and peacefully protesting, peacefully,
Mhm.
all for it.
right.
Do it. I wish I could go out there and carry a banner and walk up and down the street.
Right.
Hopefully, I wouldn't lose my life over it, which happened this week to a 37-year-old lady
Yes, and that's
with children.
that is to me that's a low point in this country that that a woman with a mother of children
A
loses her
Christian woman, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
life, lost her life in Minnesota, and they try to say that this woman was using her car to possibly run someone over, but I mean I'm not a professional.
I don't buy it.
I mean, the videos I saw, her tires were going
Turned
away.
away from him.
Yeah, and I just don't. I don't see. And then as he was, wasn't it right after he shot her? He called her a bitch.
A fucking bitch.
Yeah,
Excuse my French, but
I don't know about you.
I
Ann,
like that word.
But even if I had to, if I did have to shoot somebody, if I was in a position where I surely would not be saying something like that derogatory
Yeah.
toward, even if
As her car's careening into another car and a pole,
yeah,
to call her that,
yeah.
come on.
This is the kind of people that we're giving this kind of authority to
Exactly.
in our country to
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Just to me, she posed no threat. I mean, in a split second, he shouldn't have been standing in front of the car to begin with.
I think that's
their
one of their
training
Yeah.
says don't do that, and he must have missed that day.
Yeah. He was probably busy, shooting his gun somewhere that day.
I mean, should she have been there blocking their job? Trying to keep, maybe not.
And maybe they should have been working on more of trying to get her to move around than try to get
My understanding was she was telling them, or they were telling her to get the F out of there,
yeah, so
or get the hell out of there.
so she's trying to go and then he shoots her.
I guess what happened. I mean, I saw with my own eyes. I don't think she really hit him.
No, and it's funny. He he didn't seem like he was hit from what I seen.
No, and then he walked down to the car, saw that he'd shot her in the face,
Yeah,
and then just turned around and walked away and said, "Call an ambulance or call 911."
well, what really got me about it was the fact that they were not allowing anybody to give her any medical attention. There was actually
there was a doctor there.
yeah, there was a physician that was right there, and they weren't allowing anybody to help this woman.
Well, and then I also heard that when the ambulance and stuff got there, they wouldn't let them through. They had to walk to where she was. They had it blocked off and they had to walk.
yeah,
So they couldn't render aid right away because they had to walk to her.
so even if there was a possibility, even saving her life, that they made sure there was not a possibility of her surviving. I mean, for me, that's what it sounds like. They were
Kind of
just
sounds that way.
yeah, they were kind of just making sure she wasn't going to walk away from that situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a sad and she's not the first. Let's just make that clear. She's not the first victim of them, of ICE killing
Right.
somebody. So, again, my thoughts, my heart goes out to that family. I know that's nothing that I can say or Ann can say that will change that situation. But just know that we hope that
Well,
somehow
he's here to give his side of the story. She's not.
exactly.
So you make your own judgment on what you think happened.
But it's like our leader of the country. He kind of does what he wants.
Well,
You know-
he came out and called her a domestic terrorist within hours.
Yeah,
There was no investigation.
right.
Christy Noem did the same thing.
Well, was he there? I mean, he's making an accusation
Right.
that he's going to say, well, they told him that,
Right.
but we know he doesn't really need any information. He's just going to make the call off of his cuff.
Well, he's going to make a call about everything, going
Yeah.
into Venezuela,
Doug-
taking over Greenland,
yeah, and
Greenland, whatever, however you pronounce it.
it's,
He's going to whether they like it or not. Okay,
all right.
dude. Ruin our reputation for the world.
Well, and I know that from watching the news today, they said if that was to happen, that we would lose complete backing of NATO.
Yeah. Do you blame them?
No, I'm not.
I would say,
Yeah, absolutely,
to us as well.
absolutely.
I mean, come on.
It's just a bad
We're a
situation.
laughing stock in the world. He's a bully.
Well, I think it's becoming a little bit more, less than more. I mean, I don't even think bully even can cover the magnitude of the situations that he's involved this country in, and nothing's being done. Nothing's being done against.
Well,
his
people make the
actions.
comment, what have the Democrats done lately? Can't do anything.
No, and it doesn't do you any good to impeach him, because how many times has
Well,
he
he's worried about that now come midterms this year when Democrats probably may take over the House and the Senate, or
right.
at least the House.
I sure hope so.
And, he says the first thing they'll do is impeach him.
But he's been impeached before, and they didn't get
It
him out of
didn't
there.
done do any
It
good.
didn't do any good. And it doesn't really matter. He doesn't look for any approvals. He doesn't look to them to say, "Hey, let's vote for this. Let's talk
Have a
about it."
discussion.
Nope, that's
No.
not going to happen. He does what he wants, and
He does.
and he's going to continue to do it.
Absolutely.
It's not going to change. I guess we're going to have to wrap up this episode, Ann.
Oh, hey, okay.
We're probably running a little bit over. We appreciate you folks hanging out with us.
We do,
and
for sure.
we would love to hear from you and your thoughts, even whether you're agreeing with us or you're not. We
I
are.
can take it.
Yeah,
I
we're
can
not.
take it.
We are definitely not afraid of people and their opinions. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one.
That's exactly right.
And we have an email. It's Ann and Lisa.
Soapbox.
It's Ann and Lisa, soapbox@gmail.com. Feel free to drop us an email or a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
We would.
And until next time,
Absolutely.
I'm Lisa,
And I'm Ann.
and this is the Soapbox.